Mm. Let me give it a few minutes. Let everybody kind of get in here if they can. Do your thing. Do your thing. I'm enjoying my time out here in Madrid, so it's good vibes only. Shout out to New York because I know I'm going through a lot right now. It's chaos over there. See how this goes, man. Oof. Let's wait for some people to come in. Wait for some people to come in. Might change the title. Is there any way I can change the title? Or is it too late already? It just already is popping off. It just is what it is. Yeah, I'll be honest, man. It's been a little hard with the time switch, because right now I'm 6 hours ahead of you guys. So it is 2 in the morning right now, or it's about to be 2 in the morning. It's 1:40 in the morning. So that means it's 7:40 for you guys. So I'm definitely a little tired. I'm not going to be on here for super, super long. We're going to see how this should go. We are going to see how this should go, man. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. Much love to all the people who tapped in with me, too. You know, while I've been over here, while I've been shooting my videos, I'm definitely making a bit of a pivot. I'm doing the hip hop stuff. I still do the hip hop stuff and everything. I'm good at it. That's my thing. Is I'm good at it. That's the issue. Is I'm actually good at this shit. But I said it before on my TikTok live today that I did. Um, if you can't tell, I've been posting a lot lately to kind of force the algorithm to see me in this light. Um, but yeah, I just feel like the world is going through so much stuff right now. It's almost like dumb for me to just be like a dude talking about like Drake or something. You feel me? Like the world in the way that it is, I feel like it's almost like it's not irresponsible because people need entertainment no matter what type of world we're in and everything. But you know, bro, like America, there's a lot of stuff going down right now, and it does kind of feel irresponsible. I'll be real with you. I'll be real with you. Like, if I'm being honest, that's even why like I don't even really like fuck with people like Joe Budden and like Charlamagne the God and like all these guys anymore because it's like I don't know. They spent so much time like distracting you. You know what I mean? Like even with the whole Mark Lamont Hill thing, I'm not gonna go deep into that, but like there's no reason you should be on the show. And it's not necessarily like because, there's dumb black people and there's smart black. It's not like that. It's just simply because Joe Budden does not care about educating anybody or enlightening anyone in any sort of way. And in this world that we're in right now, it kind of seems almost wrong to not want to pitch in some sort of way. Like, bro, Mark Lamont Hill was talking about how his journalist friends died in Gaza, and they just like made some like dumb joke and like switched over. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about the Queen's Flip thing. It's not about none of that. It's just like all these dudes. I feel like they've spent so much time in hip hop pretending that they have integrity, shitting on certain artists and stuff, particularly Drake and stuff. I'm a Drake fan, but this is bigger than him. But it does kind of fit into that where it's like, lack of authenticity, oh, this nigga's weird. Oh, he doesn't care about the real and all this shit. And I'm gonna big up Most Def, but I'm gonna shit on him. And it's like, bro, in this situation, you're the Drake. Do you see what I mean? Like all of you guys lack complete authenticity. You have none of it, like in any way. And in fact, it's almost worse because musical artists are musical artists. That's whatever. But at the same time, like you're an actual human being talking directly into a microphone with no beats, no breaks. You know what I mean? Kind of proposing as if you are this real person, this real human being, right? That is here to kind of guide people. And yes, it is entertainment. It's full on entertainment, but it's like, bro, they're yeah, exactly. They're all drama club performance dancers, and these people are ridiculous, bro. And it's like, I'm not even trying to cap for Drake or nothing like that. You know, he's whatever. He's kind of washed to me. I don't really mess with him like that no more. I still like his music, whatever. But I just see the hypocrisy in saying certain things about somebody who you say lacks authenticity, and then you're completely and utterly unauthentic. There's just something so gross about that, bro. And the way they manipulate people, man, it's just gross, man. Hello, Burhan. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Shout out to Google Rewrites History as well too. Stay woke out there. I could tell from the title, from the name. I'm like, all right, this person gets it, man. You know, and yeah, bro, like that's just my thing. I feel like that's just really starting to like irritate me, especially in the hip hop space. I feel like a lot of these rappers that wanted to come at other rappers, right? For their lack of giving knowledge to the youth now have podcasts and they're not giving any knowledge to the youth. The topic, hey, Ace Boogie, what's up, man? The topic of my conversation is the larger thing is going to be about Canal Street and, you know, ICE and everything like that. But right now, I'm kind of, I'm a performer, okay? You need a dramatic arc, you need a rising action, right? And a falling action. I'm starting with the rising action and talking about the lack of authenticity with podcasters and media personalities right now. That's kind of where I'm at, and I'm kind of talking about my transition from hip hop media to kind of doing this travel blog, political, I'm outside of America while commenting on America kind of position that I'm doing right now. And hello, the Sawani Bros. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. And but that's really my issue right now is I feel like there's just so many people who, especially in the hip hop space, pride themselves on this realness, this authenticity, and how I really rap and these niggas is dumb and they just want you to be dumb. And then they make their own TV shows to make you dumb. Half the people they mess with are like extreme capitalists who believe in no sort of social programs at all. And we can really start digging into, and I've said this before in past videos, which I feel like people have overlooked, about how the Black American population, when I say Black American population, I don't just mean FBA, like foundational Black Americans. I also just mean anyone who is born and raised in America as a Black person. We are the great capitalist experiment, right? So it did start with FBA people, right, being brought to America from Africa, right, coming through slavery, just like a lot of us did in the Caribbean and everything too. But the difference then is they're living in this apartheid state this entire time, right? And then once slavery was done, they just kind of let them go with no real sort of safety net and no real sort of understanding about how the world works because they prevented them from learning anything. You would be beaten to death for reading. You know what I mean? And you think about how many different times, right, the government in all different eras have provided for tons of other populations of people, except for Black people and specifically Black Americans, like Black Americans from slavery. You know what I mean? And that was all done in a conscious sense, not just because they hated Black people. They did 100%. They did. But I also think it was a little bit of a capitalistic experiment in the sense of let's see how insidious our teachings can actually be. You feel me? Like if we have these people in captivity, then we release them with no education whatsoever, then we call them lazy and we demonize them over and over and over. You know what I mean? Give them no safety programs, but then also, anytime they do anything wrong, we hold them way more accountable than we hold anybody else, right? We get them to hate their fellow man because they have no way to survive. And then we'll judge them for finding any way to survive out of their lack of survival. And that is what breeds this type of stuff in this podcasting space. I know it sounds funny. I know it sounds dumb to think slavery to Joe Budden, but it's true, bro. It's true. This is where this psyche comes from of like, oh, that nigga broke, so I don't really fuck with him like that. No, we shouldn't be helping, bro. It's about me and mines, bro. It's about me and mines. When they released black people from captivity, their thought was to create the most financially dependent race of people on the earth with no way of creating their own financial independence. And they did this deliberately in every step of the way. And I feel like there's just no other way you can fucking see it. If you don't see that, you're blind. And now we've gotten so deep into it that it's gone absolutely crazy. It's gone absolutely crazy, bro. There's so many of us who actively act against our own well-being because we don't want to be seen as somebody who doesn't have enough. I was talking about this in one of my videos in Berlin because I just shot a video doing the comedy scene in Berlin. Please check that out. It's called doing comedy in the most serious country in the world. Absolutely, it was a fun place, great job. But one of the things I talked about, the difference between Europe and America, is that nobody's flexing in Europe. Not really. You know what I mean? And like there's nobody pretending they have way more than they actually have. And I'm not saying that they revel in the fact of being broke as fuck. It's not true. They just are honest about what they have and what they don't have. And in America, there's a large population of people like that as well too, who are very honest about what they have and don't have, and they want more from the government. But there's a whole other subsection that might honestly be the majority that is brainwashed almost into having this very massive ego. Exactly, Google. Having this very massive ego where it's like you're broke, but you don't want to admit that you're broke. So you're gonna just sit around and playing shit all day. You feel me? All we have to do is hold the government accountable in solidarity, and a lot of these things would change. But yet we don't because nobody wants to admit that they don't have enough in the first place. And so we're stuck in this paradigm. And it used to be only white people who were in that paradigm. You feel me? And a subsection of, other races or whatever. But I feel like over the last like 100 years, it has just greatly changed with black people. It's really cultivating and it's completely sad, bro. And it just drives me nuts. And it brings me to this whole thought of this whole Canal Street ice raid shit, man, and how that's going. You know, yeah. Ace Boogie says, yeah, rappers is a sad side of the black community, showing how they lack in every aspect they hold to the slave era as it's still current. They show no interest in growth. I agree and I disagree. I feel like rap and hip hop in general is just an art form, right? So there's good parts and there's bad parts of it. For every money bag yo, there's a Pharaoh Monch, right? So there's always that. For every ludicrous, there's a little brother, right? But I'm talking about deeper than just you know, hip hop because that's what I'm saying. Like all these podcasters, they're calling out these rappers, but yet they're doing the same thing. It's deeper than hip hop. It's in part of like what our race is doing and how I feel like a lot of black people almost want to they don't want to create equality. They just want to be on the other side of oppression. And I think that truly is a death sentence for all of us. And I know I'm losing some people on this live. It's a fact, but I don't care. I'm gonna keep going in because this shit it drives me crazy, man. Um, you know, uh, what do you say? Google says I traveled a lot, still am not as much. Do you see other countries falling to the same mindset as state? I always find that to be a striking red flag. No, I don't. I mean, in some ways, listen, like greed is everywhere. So it's not just a simple American thing, right? Greed is one of the things that we love. It's just a part of us. And it's mostly because we live in this crabs in a barrel mentality, sure. But greed is truly everywhere. I'll be honest about that. But yeah, I feel like there's just a bit more of an honesty from other people. In America, we're taught to live off of debt and credit. You know what I mean? Everything's based in investing, and if we're being honest, most of us don't have the money to invest anyway. So it's really just some sort of like educated gamble, which isn't really even a gamble. It's just them taking your money, you know. Um, but nobody wants to talk about that type of shit. So I feel like there's other countries that are failing in this shit, but it's mostly like us, and then it's maybe like the Middle East or something. Places with other like vast types of wealth disparities. Places in the West, as far as like Europe and shit like that. Nah, not really. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can walk by somebody who's rich, and he's gonna think he's better than you, of course. You walk by some like rich Italian dude with like Versace everything or whatever, and you're just some dude with like a stain on your shirt. Yeah, he's gonna think he's better than you. But that's basic. That's been happening everywhere across the world forever. What I'm talking about is the deeper shit where it's just ingrained in culture as a whole. You know, um, Through media, TV, movies, music, etc., the rest of the world is developing the same behaviors and kind of thinking as the USA. Yeah, I would say. I would say. I would also say to you, to be honest, that a lot of these places already had some of these behaviors. I mean, what's going on in the USA isn't necessarily created there. It was created here in Europe, and then it was perfected in America, right? And the only reason that I feel like a lot of Europe is the way that it is kind of because of World War II. They had so much conquest and colonization, right, for a very, very long time. And it was just the first two world wars, fought right on their soil that I think caused them to kind of pull back, right? And just be like, all right, we don't really want to deal with this. Every couple years, there's some sort of big deal. We just don't have that. And America stepped in and was like, hey man, we make weapons and shit, and like we're doing all this. Like, what if we just took over the whole thing? And then in turn, you let us bring over all our goods and all our products and basically almost colonize you, and we'll protect you while you guys just kind of hang out. And I think that's what's really built the thought processes that they've had. But truth be told, if we're talking, if we're really talking about through the timeline and everything, Europe's just as guilty, bro. Europe's just as guilty. I mean, you hear it a lot of times, right? That when Hitler, I probably shouldn't say his name, but when he was doing his thing in World War II, that apparently he got inspiration from Jim Crow in America. That's fair, and I'm sure he probably did. That being said, even before the Big H was over in Germany doing his thing, Germany had already done genocides in other countries and had already had camps in other countries. You feel me? America isn't some vast violent anomaly. It's the perfection of the colonization that started here. And it's just it's really insane. It's really insane, man. And to see how far it's gone to, where people are just seem to be so proud of the fact that we look like fools in the eyes of the rest of the world is crazy. Because being out here, I'm telling you, they look at us like it's Nazi Germany. Like I'm telling you, I've traveled right now. I've already done London. I've done Berlin. Right. I'm in Madrid right now. Every time I get on stage as a stand-up comedian and I tell people I'm from the US, they immediately get somber or they get angry. It's a whole entire thing. It really is very, very serious, man. I don't know what else to say. It's actually nicer for me because I'm black. If I'm being 100% with you, it's different for me because I'm black. Like if you're a white American, they're looking at you with a little bit of disdain, bro. I'll be honest with you. They're looking at you with a little bit of disdain. If you're a black American, they're looking at you with a little bit of pity because they're like, fuck, like, dude, like, I'm so sorry what's going on with you. That's how they see this shit. They look at what America is going through right now as Germany in like 1930, 33, 35, when things were really, really rising. And you see people on Twitter and on threads and everything comment about that type of stuff, right? And you might think like, oh, they're just being dramatic and oh, all these blue hair liberals and leftists and they're crying. No, bro, this is how the rest of the world sees you, or this is how the rest of the world sees us, because I'm part of it too. It's true. It's true, man. People are scared. They are scared and they are very, very angry and they are very, very disappointed in what this country is doing, dude. And I feel like you'd have to leave for it to really sink in because it's scary being in the US, which is why I left. I kind of needed a little bit of a sabbatical from what's going on right now. And even especially like even just in the black sector, man, with all that FBA shit, you see it on the internet all the fucking time. And for the most part, it's just internet bullshit. And most of those people are bots, bro. You know what I mean? Or just people with misplaced anger. But it weighs on you. It weighs on you to think that, you know, these people who I consider to be my brothers and sisters, whether we formally know each other or not, might truly think I'm some sort of parasite in the country is heartbreaking, especially, as a Jamaican person who, at least in my family, I was always taught like Pan Africanism and, like we're all blood, we're all one. You know what I mean? Jamaica's whole thing is out of many, one people, and so that type of stuff kind of was breaking my heart and I felt like I had to leave. And I feel like so much of America is dealing with so much bullshit right now. So I just had to bounce. But it's true, man. It's true. These people are like very, very scared for you. And I think a lot of us need to really smarten up and take to the streets. And if you can't take to the streets, you need to start taking people in. You need to start organizing. You need to start coming up with ideas of how to unionize your workplace and figure things out. You know, we can talk about the black people who use the quote we're tired and everything, and that's all well and good for the internet, and I know it causes so much discourse and everybody loves it, so fun, isn't that right? But how many times have you seen more and more videos of just average black people doing their job, and all of a sudden they're thrown on the pavement, all of a sudden they're arrested, all of a sudden they have to prove they're a citizen, like they just carry their birth certificate around. Meanwhile, some white Russian dude gets to walk around freely. It's because it's not about immigration, it's about segregation. You feel me? And this whole idea that, like, oh, this is like white people's fault and white people need to fix it. It is their fault and they do need to fix it. But it would behoove any of us to actually fight for our own independence because at the end of the day, these people are going to come knocking through our door. They will come knocking through our door and they already have even before this. You feel me? So it's just it's a really interesting thing, man. It's a really interesting thing. America's in a very, very interesting place right now. And tell me, what do you guys think? How do you actually feel about the US and what it's doing, what's happening? You think Trump is a nut? You think he's doing what he needs to do? Listen, if it's your point of view, it's your point of view. I'm not really gonna knock you for it. We can talk a little bit back and forth, but I had to bounce, bro. And I think I'll probably be coming back just because, life is what life is. I do work remotely, but I still have an apartment. I still have a cat. I still have to figure out how to get Jamaican citizenship so I can get a Jamaican passport in case Trump starts revoking American passports, which that's something he's talked about already multiple times. And I just don't want a chance. It's an interesting thing when you come from a culture that has had to leave its own country before, because I didn't experience that, but just seeing it, it makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. You know what I mean? And you start understanding this shit. Like once he just started talking about how he wanted to remove birthright citizenship, it was like, oh, okay, all right, so we out. So we out there. Okay, okay, okay. you know? So we'll see, man. I mean, my heart goes out to all those people in in the ice raids on Canal Street, man. Uh, just so disheartening, bro. That shit really like affected me, man. Seeing some of those videos, seeing all that. I do enjoy seeing the New Yorkers fight because fight for the people who are being victimized, because that's New York, man. And shout out to Chicago, shout out to Portland, shout out to all those places doing what they need to do, man. I love it. I love it. Standing up and really putting your foot down. If any of you guys are voting and you're in New York City, register to vote. And I I would be voting for Zoran Mamdani. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. That's who I would personally pick, just because he seems like the only one in the race right now who truly, truly cares about working class people and is also providing new policies rather than trying to rehash the old ones and pretend as if they're still going to work this time. But shout out to everybody who's actually still in America fighting for what America is supposed to be, right? It's crazy. And I wrote that title of, they gentrified Canal Street because, bro, it's all just a giant real estate plot, bro. At the end of the day, it's all business, it's all real estate. Same thing with Gaza, right? They want to bomb Gaza, clear it all out so they can make it into a Disney World. They want to make it into the new Dubai, right? Meanwhile, all the entire nation of who is leeching off the American government, getting weapons, and also like a lot of those people in that country don't even have formal jobs, man. They don't. They don't. They live off of universal health care, free education, free benefits. That's why so many of them move there. They have a second home there while still living in the US, man, because it's just a cash cow. You can just be there, and it's fundamentally wrong how they saw that and they were just like, all right, we're just going to kick people out. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that before all this stuff started happening, right? Uh, you know, Jewish people and Palestinian people lived in peace in Palestine. They coexisted. They really did. They appreciated each other and they appreciated each other's culture. And it wasn't until certain people got a certain idea in their head that they were better and entitled to these things and thought that God ordained them to be able to do this, that they went full manifest destiny. And we've seen it before. We've seen it happen across the world through globalization, and now we're seeing it happen with Palestine. You know, and then even the Sudan and everything that's happening, it's just all a mess, man. It's all about real estate. It's all about business. It's all about draining the resources of actual people. These people that are orchestrating these things are fucking demons, my friend. Like I want to know, how do you guys feel about the whole comedian Saudi Arabia thing? I feel like that's kind of like died down recently, but how do you feel about that? For real. Because you know what, when it was first happening, I'll admit I did not care. I was like, whatever, it's just another country and everything like that. But when you look into it, man, it's like, yo, like Saudi Arabia legitimately has like slavery and shit. And it's not even that, I mean, that is bad, but I think the worst part of it is just simply the fact that like a lot of those celebrities, a lot of those comedians that went over there, these comedians prided themselves on being the type of people who used to always talk about how great freedom of speech was and that they're these free thinkers, and they used to always shit on people who were bought, right? Quote unquote bought. Meanwhile, and this is people on the left and the right. I mean, Bill Burr, I would consider I'd say like he's a bit more of center. He just hangs out with so many right wing people that when he says something that is actually coherent, you're like, holy shit, this dude must be a leftist. He's not. He's more of a center guy. But I feel like both sides of the aisle, they both sold out no matter what, just for the bag. In fact, the only person I kind of respect for doing it was Tim Dillon, because Tim Dillon is just like, he's tongue in cheek, but he's shameless about the fact that he's like, yeah, I did it for the money. You know what I mean? And it's like, I would just love at least one of those guys to say something like that. And just be honest. Just be honest for 1 second, Crazy. And yeah, man, I mean, when it comes to Canal Street, like I said, it's like, it's everything, all this stuff is just completely based on greed, bro. It's all just based on greed. And like, it doesn't surprise me that they're doing Canal Street. Number one, because there's plenty of Africans over there, right? So they can kind of appeal to the more racist of Asian people in that community. But also, they're going because there's tons of legal Asian immigrants over there that they can yoke up. And honestly, a lot of those Asian people, they're similar to the Jewish community in the sense where they would honestly only rent out to other Asian people, which is fine. I think that's great. Whatever, keep it in the community. But land developers do not like that at all. So if they can start removing people, who overstayed their visas or are technically here, illegally or undocumented or whatever, they can start seizing land. And this is what they did with the Native Americans. This is what they've done with Black Americans. Now they're doing it with Asian Americans, and you can see it. Chinatown is the only area of like lower Manhattan that is still relatively priced, at least for a certain population of people, which is the Chinese people or Asian people as a whole, right? And if they can fucking start abducting all these people and deporting them back to China, Taiwan, wherever the hell, then it's just a matter of waiting until those things go up for sale or they're foreclosed on, and then you just go and you swoop them up. And this is what all this stuff is about, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to get it, but it's true. I'm angry. I'm angry. Sorry, did I piss everybody off? I think I just got everybody to be like, yeah, this guy's he's on one today. I just killed a six pack. And I was watching the news. So I'm talking a little spicy. I'm talking a little spicy today, boy. Talking a little spicy, bruh. What up, dude? Who just came in here? Give me a little high, bro. Give me a thumbs up. Somebody give me a little shout out. We need to keep going, boy. I went in on that gentrification shit and globalization. We need a little bit of a rest for a second and nothing but good vibes. How we doing in the chat, yo? Somebody give me a thumbs up or something, a little smiley face. I need a little bit of love right now. The country's going through everything right now. Give me a little bit of love. Come on now. Shoot me something, bro. Mm. Oh, man. And to the people who are watching, man, make sure to check out my channel. I've been doing a lot of travel stuff in these last few days. Tons and tons of travel stuff, man. So please make sure to check that out because it's good footage, man. I could tell the algorithm still wants me to stay with like only hip hop stuff, and so they're like intentionally not really giving me that much. And I'm still learning. I feel like my thumbnails could be a little better. Certain things could be a little better. But realistically, I think that's a major part of it. Is just that like the algorithm does not want me to switch to travel from hip hop. It wants me to stick to hip hop. It wants me to do videos about Tyler the Creator and how he's getting canceled and all that type of stuff, which we can talk about. But realistically, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. I'm in a different zone right now. I'm trying to see the world, and I want you guys to see the world with me and see how incredible the rest of this planet is. America is a beautiful place. Really, really beautiful. And it does have a lot of great people, but there's so much more outside of it. Experience some of that outside of it. You know what I mean? And when you travel, bro, it makes you appreciate the type of shit you didn't appreciate before. You feel me? And that's the best part about it. I realized some shit. I was in Berlin, bro. I was in Berlin and I realized the internet in that whole entire city is trash. I mean that shit. It's trash. It's terrible. I didn't know I was taking the internet for granted, bro. Like, I'm serious. Like, I was trying to upload mad videos there. I couldn't. I almost fell behind like a week on my content because how bad the internet was out there. Like my hostel, I stayed in a hostel, which is a whole nother thing. I'm about to drop a video about how disgusting the hostel was at. I was at, but the internet was terrible, bro. At the hostel, I went to a Starbucks, bro. Internet was terrible there too. Never been to a Starbucks with a bad internet ever in my life. New York, you go to the Starbucks, bro, you could download a whole movie in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm used to. I thought I was gonna go into Starbucks, get a cappuccino, bounce. No, sir. 5 hours for that shit to upload. No, thank you. No bueno. You know. Then I left the Starbucks, went to a library, which to me has an even stronger signal than fucking Starbucks, right? Apparently not. The only place where the internet was fully working, like at the speeds that I'm kind of used to, was the subway. It was like their metro. So I just say that to you again. It's like once you go and you travel places, you appreciate certain things. I didn't know we had internet privilege in America, but apparently we have serious internet privilege, man. Count your blessings, people. Count your blessings, man. You know? Oh man. It is a beautiful night in Madrid though. Absolutely. I would walk around, I would, but I'm not getting good reception out here. It's another thing. Cell phones. I'm just not getting that good of reception. I think too, like I think my phone, I need to pay my Verizon bill as well too. I think they cut that shit off. And I have like one of those eSIMs or whatever. So I thought it'd be fine because I paid for a month of data and like phone out here. But I think it cut my shit off. So I need to like jailbreak my phone so I can just have whatever SIM I want to use and just go with that. Because I'm gonna be gone for months. I don't really need to be paying Verizon like that. At the end of the day, I really don't need to. It doesn't really make sense. And that's another thing too. You start realizing, there's certain things you appreciate about America, and then there's also certain things where you're like, damn, America was cheating me this whole time. And one of those things is internet service. Like, well, not internet service, but like cell phone service. For real. Like, bro, most like cell phone service shit in like, Europe and everything, you pay like $40 a month, $30 a month, and it gives you everything that like a plan for Verizon would charge like 120, $130 per month for. I'm serious. I'm serious. Unlimited data, strong data. You know, it's crazy. Um, been up in the Catechus north of Barcelona, town Salvador Dali is from. Nice. Nice, bro. I'm trying to travel more, man. Madrid is I've been here twice before. Just because I know people out here. I got shows out here. I'm doing comedy shows. If anybody is in Madrid watching this right now, I have a show at Sexy Comedy Madrid, which is a little spot, little comedy club out here. I'm doing a show Monday. I'm headlining at 9 p.m. Please make sure to do that. I'll plug it, whatever. But I want to travel more. I want to travel to like the Canary Islands and shit. And then I want to travel to Barcelona as well too. There's a lot of places like Spain is just beautiful. It's very, very beautiful. I love it out here. I will say. I definitely need to learn my Spanish because that is one thing. They're very like proud out here in the sense of like they don't speak like English. Like if you're in the city center of like Madrid, yeah, sure, people will speak English, whatever, or know some English. But like people were telling me, even other spots in Madrid, bro, like it's just locals and none of them speak any English at all. In fact, I teach English online, right? That's how I make my money. And everybody that, well, not everybody, but a vast majority of the people are both Italian and Spanish. That just is what it is. You know what I mean? And their English is not very good, you know, which is funny. It makes me feel better though, because, people judge Americans so often, like constantly, about how like Americans don't speak this language or that language or whatever, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, all right, at least it's not me. Let's see. I always get the Sims at a hostel or somewhere, never in the airport. Oh yeah, yeah. The card, the SIM comes in. Scotch tape the regular SIM to the back card and keep that in your wallet so you don't lose regular SIM. Yeah, maybe. I mean, nowadays they have the whole eSIM, right? So you don't even need an actual SIM card, right? Because I have an iPhone 16, so there is no like, there's no compartment to open and pop it out or anything. Like I don't have that. As as far as I know, I don't think I got that. But it's just like an eSIM. So you get the internet first, you set it up through a website, whatever, you get it, and then boom, you're good, bro. You're good. And it's just so much cheaper. That's the thing. I think a lot of people don't realize. Like, yes, in America we make more money, so things are going to be a little bit more expensive. But in the US, a lot of things are just needlessly expensive, and it's done to keep the working class down. And what I mean, the working class, I mean everybody who is not a venture capitalist or a fucking massive CEO. Okay. If you have a little McMansion in the suburbs, you're working class. This idea of like the separation of like working classes, coal miners, and then everybody else who works in an office is not working class. That's all a lie. It's all a fallacy. It's built to just lie to you and make sure you don't have solidarity with your fellow Americans. If you work for your money under somebody else, you are working class just by definition. you know but I say that to say this: get an eSIM and jailbreak your iPhone, man. That's what I'm saying. $10. You pay $10, bro, and you get an entire like data plan. Yeah, for 2 months, bro. I've heard different shit too. Like, you out in like Turkey or something, you pay like $8, bro. Like, people don't realize. We don't realize we're paying like out the ass for this shit, bro. Out the ass for shit that they just like have. Like, bro, America is a big scam, man. I'm telling you, it's a big scam. And the way that they gaslight you is like, of course you can't pay that shit. This nigga broke. And then it gets you like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. All right, I'll pay you the 120. Oh, perfect. Nah, bro. And then it's you now stunting on other people because they're like, damn, this seems like expensive. And it's like, you broke. You don't got that. It's just a bunch of mind games we play with each other, bro. Bunch of mind games that we play with each other, man. It's sad. It really is sad, bro. It really is sad, man. Hmm. Yo, who in the chat is from New York? Are there any New Yorkers out here? Because that Chinatown shit, it really does have me upset, man. And I want to know what the pulse is in New York City. Like right now, I knew that ICE and all that was gonna come there, but like I did not expect all this. I didn't expect it to happen so soon, man. So how is the vibe? All right, Google, you from New York, man. How is the vibe right now? Please tell me how the vibe is right now. Cause it's just like, dude, I don't know what's going on. Skyline outside my bedroom window. Hey, there we go. There we go. So you live in Jersey. Or you really getting paid. Either way, doing your thing, man. I don't know, man. I hope everybody out there is staying safe. I hope the people that are doing their thing, man, are fighting for everybody else. And I hope that there's at least a certain amount of Black people who aren't so tired anymore. And I'm not saying you have to go out and protest. I'm just saying you have to organize. There are many ways to resist. And I just hope that you take whatever you can to resist and do whatever you can to resist instead of just rolling over and letting the internet tell you that it's cool to just not do shit. You know, um, Half of the reason why I do this internet shit now, even though I mean I like it and everything, but half of the reason why is because I've just noticed there's so many people that are out to destroy the country and destroy all culture just for $1 on this phone, bro. It seems to be happening constantly, and it just drives me nuts, bro. It really, it really does. There's everybody. Again, Joe Budden. You got Charlamagne the God. You got that Anton Daniels guy. You got Pearl, just Pearly Things. You had Charlie Kirk, right? There's just a million people, and it's like everybody's out there for $1. You closer to Manhattan than Brooklyn. Okay, yeah, that's facts. That's facts, man. Hey, nothing's wrong with Jersey. I'm from Jersey originally, so I don't mind that shit, bro. I don't mind that shit at all. I fuck with you. I fuck with you. Um, yeah, man. But that's like a real thing. Like I hope that people are like fighting for shit, trying to really understand each other because there's no reason we need to be hating each other, and there's no reason you need to be letting these people manipulate you just for $1. You feel me? Like I actually heard the other day, and I'm with this, bro. I don't even fuck with Eric Adams like that, but I'm with this. That apparently the city of New York is like suing like TikTok and Instagram and all that shit because they're saying that like it's causing like mental health damage to the citizens of New York City. And I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I mean, like social media, I think it really, really changed and became this crazy thing when it was like, you know, psychosis for monetary gain, right? So like once people started seeing dollars flow into social media, they started really being like, all right, I'll just do anything to get any sort of attention, right? And that's already terrible. But when you're in New York City, it's extra terrible, bro. There's certain people who are just out of their mind and they'll do anything and they'll like threaten people on the fucking street. I mean, I remember seeing one dude. The worst is, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. The worst is some of the hood dudes because they do the wildest shit to get attention. And then it's like, if anybody's like, hey, what are you doing? Then they're like, what's up? And then they like turn up. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing worse than pranks by a hood nigga, bro. I swear to God, bro. Pranks by a hood nigga is the scariest thing. Pranks by a hood nigga is just assault. If we're being real with you. I don't know if you remember the dude who used to hate Bape, right? He used to roll up on people, and he would be like, yo, like, like, why are you wearing that shit? This like project dude used to be like, why are you wearing that shit? And it was kind of funny, sure, whatever. He roll up on people, he went viral from it. He's starting to like get attention and money. That dude is now in prison for murder because one of those situations I believe went left, and now he's just there now. You know what I mean? And then there was one dude who he's not. This next dude isn't in prison, but yeah, he used to go on the subway and like pour milk all over himself and like scream and shit like that. Dude just jacked, huge. It's like no one's gonna say nothing to you because they don't want to get the shit beat out of them. But they shouldn't have to be dealing with this mental abuse. You feel me? So I'm with Instagram definitely doing what needs to be done. And if they do sue, everybody needs to be broken off a piece. That's what I think, man. I feel like if the city sues, everybody got to get a little piece. Because if they're not, that's just wrong, bro. That's just wrong. I feel the same way about sharing data too. Like you ever think about that? About how like, you go on these websites, right? They take your data and they sell it to other people. And it's like, why am I not getting royalties? Number one, like just don't take it. But if you are going to take it, if it's legal for you to take it by law, right? Because of the fine print and the terms of conditions and all that shit, uh, why am I not getting a piece of my own information that I'm giving out to you? You know, these are just some things I think about. Maybe I'm just out of my damn mind. I don't know. I feel like I'm cooking though. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. You're paying for them to steal your data. You go on whatever website, you click and you have to accept the cookies before you have any access to the entire site, bro. Right? For the entire site. So they're stealing that shit. They're not giving you a piece. And then they're going to be like, oh, well, and they hit you with ads based off your data, right? So then they hit you with that and they're like, oh, well, if you want to break from us stealing your shit and bombarding you with shit, then you got to pay us more money. It's like, nigga, fuck you. How about you take the data and remove the ads? Or how about you just don't take the data, man? It should business is predatory. If we've learned one thing here today, ladies and gentlemen, it is that business, especially in America, is extremely predatory. Yeah, exactly. You're paying for ads you don't even want to see. Ridiculous. I will say, if you could pour a little liquor out for me, man. I just ended my YouTube Premium. I couldn't afford it. This month I had to let it go. I've been traveling. I had to let it go. I had to let it go. Now I'm back with the peasants, man. You know, not cool, not fun. Oh man, that shit is terrible. I didn't know you guys have been dealing with this. You just been watching Dyson commercials and fucking, Glade trash bag commercials all day. I know. Now I'm part of the proletariat. Welcome back. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Mm. Uh, by the way, too, I am traveling out here doing my whole thing. I do, work online and stuff like that. But because I'm doing this whole series, I am doing some crowdfunding. So if you guys are into that, look up any of my last two videos. You'll see a bunch of my donation information. So if you want to donate to the cause, you want to, click my GoFundMe for my Escape America tour, please do that. If not, then you can do Venmo or Cash App. It's just Phil Risden. Any dollar helps. I appreciate that shit because I'm kind of going through it right now. It's this comedy stuff, man. I'm telling you, bro. You bounce around, man. It's a fun time. I've had the best time of my life doing this stuff. It's the greatest thing ever. But you fly by the seat of your pants, man. And I'm getting paid like Euro time, so I only get paid once per month. I haven't even gotten my first paycheck yet. So if anybody wants to help a brother out, please help a brother out. I much appreciate that. Phil Risden on Cash App and Venmo. Just Phil Risden, the way it's spelled right here on the channel. Um, and hey, maybe one day, if I hope, if I pray, I can get back to that YouTube premium lifestyle. You feel me? The Big Daddy Kane lifestyle, man. Life is good. Life is good though. Everything's nice. I can't wait. I'm doing my show, headlining out here in Madrid, man. And that's another thing too. I was talking about how different it is in America versus here. And one of the main differences is like being a comedian out here. Sure, the scenes are smaller, but when you're an American comedian coming into Europe, and you're good, you know what I mean? Which I can pat on myself on the back, but I cook some shit up there. You know what I mean? Uh, People gravitate toward you, and they want to help you out, and they want to really put you on. And that's kind of what really, really brought me out here. I wanted to do the YouTube stuff. I want to do the traveling stuff. I want to talk about politics. I might bring back my podcast and everything. But realistically, it was just to finally get the validation from comedy that I had been wanting, and not necessarily like validation, because I know I'm a valid person. It's not that, but it's just the fact that like being in New York is the mecca for stand-up comedy, right? And it's so many people, right? And it's really, really about who you know to like a crazy different level, bro. Like it's crazy. Like everything's about who you know, but there is about who you know, like no matter what. And like a lot of people who are like famous or like on the next level doing comedy, like aren't even funny, man. They're not funny. They're just like friends with like one other person. And I just needed the space to kind of come into my own where I could get on one of the best shows in the city and actually shine and actually make clips out of it. I could shoot a sketch with somebody and they're not gonna leave me on red because I only have 1,000 followers, even though my shit is actually funny and the idea is funny. You know, so it's just a beautiful thing to be able to be out here and kind of do all that. So I really am blessed. I might be broke, but I'm blessed. You know, that might be the title of my podcast, the Broken Blessed podcast. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'm thinking about bringing it back. Do you think if anybody is here, who used to watch my podcast, do you think that I should bring it back? Because I've been playing around with that idea for quite a while about bringing back this podcast. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. I don't know if I'll do it. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But I legitimately might bring this podcast. I'm kind of fucking with it. We're going to see what's up. You know, False Prophets was fun, man. False Prophets was fun. Manny's no longer there, but I still love him to death. You know, and I kind of want to, want to get back to the people, bro. I want to find, and I want to figure out a way that I can shoot something, do something, right? Put it together, and then cut it out in increments and put it out, so I'm not so overwhelmed always having to do shit every single day um, for all this stuff. But I'm sure everything I'm saying is boring right now. Or do you like hearing about the how the sausage gets made? I don't know. Some people like hearing about how comics do shit. So let me know. And if I'm boring as fuck, just tell me. It is what it is. You know what I mean? God damn, it's 2:30 a.m. right now. 2:30 a.m. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to sleep in just a minute, man. I'm gonna have to go to sleep in just a minute. It's been cool hanging out with everybody and shit, man. Like, thank you for all the love you showed me, just on this live. We had some ups, we had some downs, bro. But everybody's been cool so far. And Google, you still there, bro? Let me know what's good, man. How's life out in Jersey, man? I bet this is somebody I know too. He's probably like my cousin or some shit. People be sneaky on YouTube. I swear to God, they sneaky, bro. I tell comedians all the time, right? In fact, I bumped into one comic in London that I've done comedy with in New York for like a really long time, and he was somebody who used to put stuff out all the time, try to pay for ads and all that type of stuff. And I just told him, I was like, bro, just keep pushing because you never know who's watching you. You never know who's watching you. This is a fact. You know, I say that as somebody who released mad hip hop videos, and then all of a sudden DJ Academics is playing my video on his live stream. Okay. You know, uh, you just never know. And I also say that as a guy who, you know, went viral making a video about Andrew Schultz that I thought was just a dumb little podcast clip. Next thing I know, I have 8 different comedians hitting me up, and telling me like, yo, take it down, take it down, take it down. And oh, like, bro, this nigga, he's gonna see it and blah, blah, blah. And I heard from some people he definitely did see that shit, bro. You have no idea. You'll have like 100 followers, bro, and you'll be like, I'm not shit. Meanwhile, some dude who like you idolize, or some dude who's larger than life to you in a certain way, whether positively or negatively, is watching your shit and they're like, yo, this little nigga, he got something. You're like, he's got something right here. I'm not gonna give him nothing to help him get more, but if he figures out the code right now, he's got it and he's gonna be an entity out here. That's how they see it. That's how they see it. I'm telling you, man, I've had so many different times with different comedians. Like, I'm just there chilling, you know, with my drink ticket, trying to get a little Pacifico or something. And they're like, you know what I like about you? And I'm like, nigga, you know me. Like, how do you know me? I have 1,500 subscribers. How the fuck do you know me? And he's like, yeah, man. I know you because I seen your shit and da da da. I keep pushing you. Always somebody who's independent and da da da. Bro, people see that shit. And I think it's bigger than just comedy too. I think that's a big thing in the world of pushing yourself forward, man. Push yourself forward because mm, you be surprised. These people are watching you, and some of them are hoping that you just stop because they see your potential and they don't want you to be a nigga that, gets over here. Like, my whole shit right now is basically I'm trying to mix in stand-up comedy and Anthony Bourdain. That's what I'm trying to do with this travel shit, right? I'm trying to show people cheap eats around the world while also showing them how the comedy community is across the world. And there's an industry for that. I feel like somebody's going to watch that, somebody's going to like that eventually, but I have to sit here and grit my teeth through all of it in order to get the support for it. um a lot of times when you're the first one doing some shit, people are going to stun on you or tell you that what you're doing is fucking dumb, you know and then it's not going to be until the 300th, 400th, or even the thousandth time that you've done it that it actually hits and people start really, really paying attention, man. So yeah, bro, just always push yourself because, like, you know, these people, they don't want you to pop off, you know. And you're right, Bill Gates is watching. He better be too. Fucking weird ass Epstein nigga, man. Right? That's what I'm saying. I'm adding the travel blogger to it. I think I am still gonna do the hip hop shit though too, because I do like talking hip hop. My problem is with this internet shit, bro, is like you have to like find your niche and then just do one thing over and over and over again, bro. And it's like, yo, like, I'm good at multiple things. I like talking about hip hop, but I also like doing this. Like, why can't I just do both at the same time? But I have to create a whole separate channel to do that. Fuck out of here, bro. The fuck? Like, I hate the idea of being a slave to an algorithm. regardless of if I'm an independent person making my own money. I just hate that idea that it's like your creativity has to live within this box, no matter how good it is. It's like, fuck you, man. I'm over that shit. But that being said, it is now officially been 1 hour that I've been on live. It is 2:40 in the morning in Madrid, so I'm about to peace out, bro. Google, it was nice chilling with you. Anybody else watching, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Everybody who was commenting, thank you for showing love. Love you guys. I'm gonna be doing this tomorrow as well, most likely. And I got some shows, so we're gonna recap about that. And definitely check out my videos, man. Check out my videos. We got a lot of new travel vlog videos, mixing in comedy and shit. And I think I'm gonna drop a couple hip hop videos as well too. So we'll see what's good. I'll see you later, guys.